Welcome to IQD Dinar News, your go-to source for the latest updates on currency exchange rates, revaluation news, and insights into the Iraqi dinar. Stay informed and ahead of the curve with our timely analysis and breaking developments. In the context of Iraq's economic landscape, the statement shared revolves around the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Alaq, and his recent commentary on the country's budget and oil prices. Specifically, Alaq is advocating for a reduction in the assumed oil price within the national budget from $70 per barrel to $40 per barrel. This reduction might initially seem perplexing, especially in light of fluctuating oil markets and Iraq's reliance on oil revenues. However, beneath this call for adjustment lies an important economic insight tied to anticipated changes in Iraq's currency valuation, particularly the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar. To comprehend the significance of Alaq's proposal, it is essential to consider Iraq's economy, which is deeply intertwined with oil. Iraq is one of the world's largest oil producers, and its budget depends heavily on oil revenues. This reliance on oil can make Iraq's economic planning somewhat vulnerable to global oil price fluctuations. Oil prices impact the country's fiscal stability and its currency value, affecting everything from public sector wages to infrastructure projects. Therefore, whenever the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, makes a policy recommendation or hints at future adjustments, it tends to have substantial implications for the nation's financial stability. Alaq's suggestion of adjusting the budgetary oil price to $40 is unusual, particularly considering that the global oil price is currently around $70. Normally, a budget based on a higher oil price allows Iraq to plan on greater revenues, which translates to greater fiscal space for spending. So, why propose a figure as low as $40? One plausible explanation is that this is a preparatory step for a significant change in the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar. If a currency revaluation is indeed on the horizon, reducing the budgeted oil price to $40 could offer a buffer, accommodating the adjustments that would follow a revaluation. A lower oil price baseline can also serve as a stabilizing mechanism, allowing Iraq to absorb potential shocks if a rate change causes temporary financial dislocations. Exchange rate adjustments are critical in economies like Iraq's, where currency stability impacts not only domestic prices but also international trade and investor confidence. A revaluation, in simple terms, would mean an increase in the value of the Iraqi dinar against foreign currencies, making it stronger. This change is significant for Iraqis, as it directly affects purchasing power, imports, and inflation. By altering the assumed oil price in the budget, Alaq may be attempting to signal or prepare for the economic recalibrations that would accompany such a rate shift. For a country like Iraq, oil revenue and exchange rate stability are linked, and an artificially high oil price assumption in the budget could create unrealistic expectations. If the exchange rate changes, the government will need to manage both domestic spending power and the funds required for imports. Therefore, assuming a lower oil price could serve to stabilize expectations, keeping spending within manageable limits in anticipation of a shift. An exchange rate adjustment will also affect how Iraq interacts with international markets, as a revalued dinar could attract foreign investors who view a strong currency as a sign of stability. This could ultimately lead to enhanced capital inflows, reducing Iraq's dependency on oil in the long run. Furthermore, Alaq's proposed oil price reduction seems to be aimed at aligning Iraq's fiscal policies with the economic goals set for 2025. ALEC and other officials may foresee a period of adjustment as the nation's economic policies are fine-tuned to accommodate a stronger dinar. This new exchange rate could also impact how Iraq leverages its oil exports to balance its economy, creating a scenario where more sustainable revenues could be derived from a currency that holds greater international purchasing power. In this light, the proposed reduction in oil price assumptions for the budget appears as a prudent and calculated step. If Iraq revalues its currency, there are broad implications for the domestic economy. A stronger dinar would make imported goods relatively cheaper, potentially easing inflationary pressures on consumer goods, which have been a challenge in recent years. With a stronger dinar, Iraq could also potentially stabilize its banking sector, as currency strength often translates into greater financial stability, attracting investments from both foreign and local sources. The central bank may also find it easier to manage inflation, as a higher value dinar reduces the cost of imports, benefiting both businesses and consumers. A lax adjustment to the budgeted oil price can also be seen as a conservative fiscal move to counterbalance any sudden shifts in spending that might occur due to the exchange rate change. By basing the budget on a conservative oil price, the government can build up fiscal reserves, which would be beneficial in maintaining economic stability post-revaluation. This is especially relevant given that oil prices are notoriously volatile. A lower assumed oil price in the budget means that Iraq is less likely to face a budgetary crisis if oil prices were to drop unexpectedly. Overall, the dialogue surrounding ALEC's proposal to adjust Iraq's budgeted oil price serves as a window into the strategic economic planning underway within Iraq's government and central bank. If the revaluation indeed occurs, it would likely be a cornerstone of Iraq's long-term economic strategy, intended to diversify the economy and reduce dependence on oil as the primary source of revenue. By aligning fiscal policy, specifically oil revenue assumptions, with a future stronger dinar, Iraq is positioning itself for a phase of economic growth that could transform its financial landscape. ALEC's proposal to adjust the oil price, when viewed through this lens, appears not just as a short-term adjustment, but as part of a calculated, forward-looking approach to usher Iraq into a new phase of economic potential. Thanks for tuning in to IQD Dinar News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For more updates on the Iraqi dinar and global currency trends, hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.